Hello guys, my name is Luis and welcome to my video. Today I'm gonna talk about my take on finasteride, minoxidil and microneedling. Basically, these are the big three for the hair loss. If you suffer of androgenetic alopecia, diffuse thinning, or those stuff, not something caused by vitamin deficiency or stuff like that, these are the way to go. If your balding is not so bad, like it's only a little diffuse thinning to the crown or something like that, you can only use finasteride, which is a DHT blocker, and it basically stops your balding in its place. It can even reverse it. But if you do want to regrow some of the hairs, or maybe who knows, you may be a hyper responder, you can get almost all of it back. I saw cases, but it's pretty rare. Depends how well you respond to it. Minoxidil is a hair growth stimulant. It has two versions. The topical one, it has 2%, 5%, and 10%. I'd recommend 5%. That's the best. I use it as well. And the oral one, I don't really recommend because it can have some nasty side effects, as it was originally used for treating high blood pressure, and since it goes systemic, it can cause some serious problems as well. Like, for example, I heard it has an idiosyncratic reaction to pericardial effusion. Pericardial effusion meaning a sac of fluid built around your heart. If it's not drained immediately, you can basically die. Idiosyncratic reaction meaning it's a reaction where the dose of the drug you're taking, it doesn't matter. So yeah, microneedling. I'd say the best length for microneedling is 1.5 millimeters. You should do it once every 2 weeks at that length. And you should only use microneedling if you're using topical minoxidil, because it gives you better absorption. Microneedling alone doesn't do anything. These are like the only solutions to stop balding. Well, the only solutions are finasteride and dutasteride. What's the best dose of finasteride to take? Well, I'd say about a standard dose, like 1 milligram, or you can even go to 0.5, 0.25. It's not that high of a difference. The side effect profile of finasteride, yeah, it does have some side effects as any other medicine, but not so exaggerated as other people say. Like, people say it may their dicks turn inwards, fall off, their asshole bleed. No, it does not have those side effects. Like, it's just fear mongering. It can, to be honest, like, the side effects are not so bad, like reduced libido, or maybe the worst side effect I can think of is gynecomastia. But those side effects can go away with constant use of the drug. And of course, if you use finasteride or minoxidil, those weakened hairs are gonna fall out. That's called a shedding phase. But don't worry, shedding means that stronger hair are pushing out the weak ones. So yeah, you're basically gonna grow stronger hairs. And you should not stop it, like, for example, Bald Cafe, who applied minoxidil to his beard and then it started shedding and he stopped it. That was just stupid. I do not like it when people tell young people to go bald, even if they have like slight recession of their hairlines or a little diffuse thinning, which can be easily fixed. And by young people, I mean like people of age of 18 plus or 18. Yeah, I do not recommend teens taking finasteride. Maybe topical finasteride. That's the way to go. Until they turn major and they can use oral finasteride. Now, what's the difference between oral minoxidil and topical minoxidil? In my opinion, I think the topical one works better. You may ask why. Doesn't topical be doesn't topical is worse than the oral one? Like, doesn't oral beat topical? In this case, I think not. I know people who have long sheds on oral minoxidil and they got heart palpitations and stuff. So it's not worth it. Like, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Like, the hype about it. It's just not worth it, my opinion. Like me, I'm using topical minoxidil and I got really nice results in, let's say, like 5 months or something. I currently used it for 5 months. And I got some nice results. But of course, I implemented microneedling as well. 1.5 millimeters every 2 weeks, once every 2 weeks. So yeah, I'd say if you don't respond to topical minoxidil, of course you can consider oral minoxidil. It will give you better chances to respond to it, but you should know the risks. Well, let's talk about dutasteride. What is dutasteride? Well, basically it's the same as finasteride, but only stronger. Like, it suppresses about 90% of the DHT. And it actually has slightly lower chance of side effects than finasteride. Yeah, so if you can get your hands on dutasteride, I'd recommend you use it. Dutasteride is the best thing to combat hair loss. Now, there are some barriers, like you shouldn't cross when trying to treat your hair loss. Like, do not use what is it called? Like, I heard Brian Johnson uses estrogen to stop his hair loss and promote new hair growth. You should not do that. It can basically castrate you. You are chemically castrating yourself. It's not worth it, in my opinion. It's just common sense. But let's talk a little more about topical minoxidil. Yeah, of course, if you stop it, those hairs are gonna fall out that you regrew on it, but only those hairs. And it's same with finasteride. Like, with finasteride, if you stop it, you're basically reverting to the stage you were if you didn't take it. So yeah, you're basically balding again. Now I'd recommend, if you have slightly thinning to the crown or slightly hairline recession or stuff like that, do not use minoxidil. Just use finasteride or dutasteride, because it's more convenient, you know. Like, you do not need it. Like, you do not need the minoxidil if this can help you alone. But if you want that extra kick, of course, you can use topical minoxidil. Now microneedling. Yeah, I'd say microneedling is very good, like 1.5 millimeters once every 2 weeks. It gives you that good absorption of the topical minoxidil. But using it alone doesn't do anything. Basically, microneedling alone is not worth it. Doesn't do anything. Like, I can hear some people in comments saying, "Oh, but the blood flow." Yeah, it does not do anything alone. It just gives you better absorption of the minoxidil. I even heard it turned non-responders to responders, which is great. Because, yeah, you know, there are some risks of it going systemic since it's that big of a length. But yeah, minoxidil is really good.